Right, so I'm on to my part three now, basically, which on this one, I'm going to use this here, extruding along normals. Now, this is very different now compared to what we've seen before. Before, when I pulled faces out, they would all head off in the same direction, like we saw with these here. Obviously, the cylinder and our little pill shape here, from which was originally a sphere. So I'm going to just go in and want the whole of the top of this sphere. Watch now, when I've actually gone into it, extrude along normals, which is Shift and 5 shortcut, and I pull this, you can see it's actually quite interesting. Instead of kind of increasing the face, it's more like it's scaling more than anything else. And particularly on this, it does appear to be scaling. It does give the impression that it's scaling. If I go along to this one here, again, pull it out, it definitely feels like it's more scaling than anything else. But unlike with scaling, where it will pull everything, so these here would be attached to here and they'll kind of widen out. All it does is it kind of just scales the one thing that you're currently on, and it does it in a balance in size. So we get that kind of lovely weird effect here. We've got a kind of mushroom actually now, haven't we? And again, if I head across to my cube, a cube's a really good one, by the way, to demonstrate this, because you can pick two faces that are opposite each other. You can kind of pull them outwards, or you can even, if you want to, pop them inwards. Now, once I've pulled those out, if you look from the top view, you can see here that you get a kind of flat angle, but this comes out at a perfect right angle and they kind of join up together later on. You can actually fix that, strange enough. If you did want it squared, you can actually fix it by playing around with this, but you basically have to work out where your XYZ coordinates are, but you should actually be able to kind of fix it. So if I I could obviously take that value there and plug it into that one. Basically, you can play around with it, you can fix it very easily if you want to make sure that that's a perfect right angle. Anyway, it's also really good. I'm going to actually add a brand new cube here just to show you this. About what happens when I have a whole cube selected and I pull on it. Now you see it's basically just scaling, or at least that's what it appears to do. Now if I unclick the top and bottom, I want my faces here more than anything else. Yeah, I got them. Okay, and then I pull them again. You actually get a perfect set of right angles. You can see them here. So it is very useful for that kind of process. And again, if you pull like that, you can see you get a kind of column going through it. So you can make these kind of effects if you do it right. And again, it's really easy. If you don't want these ones in particular, to be perfect right angles, you should be able to just play around. And obviously change the shape of them, change the size of them, just basically anything you need to do. I personally find though that the best approach is just play around with these. So you select the edge and then you basically just sort of nudge it a bit, whichever one you want to nudge it along. Okay, finally our cylinder. Let's head over here. This is getting quite big now. Again, let's pull along manifolds. I'm going to click on this slot here. And you'll see that it works very similar. It's kind of pulling them outwards, as we saw over here. And it's just kind of pulling out and frilling them outwards and giving us this kind of very odd little setup on it. This kind of, I suppose you could say it's kind of a nice lolly shape now. And there we go. That is how we use along the normals.